You lift a small plate from the bar, warm ceramic in your hands, olive oil still glistening under the lights. The room hums with voices layered over one another, glasses clink, laughter spills and then settles again. Nothing feels rushed. And yet somewhere in your mind, a quiet assumption lingers. This is just the beginning. An appetizer. A warm-up before the real meal arrives. But what if that assumption is the very thing that misses the point? What if tapas was never meant to lead anywhere else at all? What if tapas is the destination? Tapas is one of those words that carries a mood more than a definition. Say it out loud and it immediately paints a scene. Warm evenings that stretch longer than planned. Tables crowded with small plates. People leaning in, not because they have to, but because the conversation pulls them closer. You've probably heard tapas described as Spanish appetizers, or small plates, or a style of dining. But none of those quite land. Because tapas isn't a category on a menu. It's a rhythm. A way of letting food and time move together. The word itself comes from the Spanish verb, tapa, meaning to cover. The most popular origin story is simple and practical. In old taverns, bartenders would place a slice of bread, a piece of cheese, or some cured meat over a glass of wine to keep dust and flies out. That cover, that tapa, became something to nibble on while drinking. Over time, what began as a practical solution became an expectation. People looked forward to it. They asked about it. They judged a bar by it. Whether this story is fully literal or partly romanticized is still debated, but it reveals something true. Tapas didn't begin as a performance. It wasn't invented by chefs or designed to impress. It emerged naturally from daily life. From the start, tapas was informal. It belonged to ordinary people in ordinary places. Taverns, inns, roadside bars. It wasn't about recipes written down or techniques passed through culinary schools. It was about balance. Food with drink. Hunger with conversation. A little something to slow you down and keep you present. In a culture where wine and social life were deeply intertwined, eating alongside drinking wasn't optional. It was necessary. One of the biggest misunderstandings about tapas is thinking it refers to a specific list of dishes. In reality, tapas is a way of eating, not a fixed menu. It prioritizes variety over volume and sharing over individual ownership. Instead of ordering one large plate meant for one person, you order many small ones meant for everyone. Plates arrive when they're ready. They leave when they're empty. The meal unfolds without a strict beginning or end, guided by conversation rather than courses. This changes how people behave at the table. There's no pressure to eat quickly. No anxiety about choosing the right dish. If something looks good, you try it. If it's gone, you move on. Tapas turns eating into a fluid experience, where food supports the social moment instead of interrupting it. Tapas didn't suddenly appear as a national tradition. It evolved slowly, shaped by geography, climate, and economics. Spain's hot weather favored lighter, smaller portions. Its agricultural diversity encouraged variety. Its social culture valued gathering and conversation. In earlier centuries, bars and inns served simple food alongside alcohol to prevent people from drinking on empty stomachs. These small portions were affordable, easy to prepare, and deeply practical. As towns grew and bars became social hubs, these small bites became part of everyday life. By the 19th and early 20th centuries, tapas had embedded itself into the Spanish routine. In some regions, ordering a drink still automatically comes with a small tapa, reinforcing the idea that food and drink belong together. Not as a luxury. As a baseline. There is no single official version of tapas, because tapas reflects place. In southern regions, especially in Andalusia, tapas often appears as the simplest expressions of local ingredients. Olives seasoned with herbs. Fried fish fresh from the coast. Thin slices of cured ham. In central regions, tapas becomes heartier. Potatoes covered in rich sauces. Stewed meats served in small bowls. In coastal areas, seafood dominates. Inland regions lean into cheeses, legumes, and cured products. Ask what tapas is, and you won't get one answer. You'll get many regional interpretations of the same idea. Small portions. Shared plates. Local ingredients. And always, an emphasis on enjoyment rather than efficiency. Certain dishes have become widely recognized beyond Spain. Crispy potatoes served with bold sauces. Thick potato omelets sliced into wedges. Croquettes with creamy centers and crisp shells. Shrimp sizzling in olive oil and garlic. Marinated olives. Boards of cheese and cured meats. None of these are complex. None rely on spectacle. They work because they respect balance, texture, and freshness. But to understand tapas fully, you have to look beyond the food itself. Tapas plays a central role in Spanish social life. Going out for tapas often means moving from bar to bar, having one drink and one small dish at each stop. This practice turns eating into a journey rather than a single destination. It removes formality. There's no single table you're tied to. No long commitment. Just movement, conversation, and shared experience. Tapas invites participation. Everyone reaches in. Everyone tastes. Everyone comments. There's no sense of ownership over a plate. The food belongs to the group. That alone changes how people interact. It breaks down barriers. It encourages connection. It turns eating into a collective act rather than an individual one. Outside of Spain, tapas is often misunderstood as something served before the main course. In its original context, tapas is the meal. When enough small dishes are shared, they become filling, satisfying, and complete. Treating tapas as merely a prelude strips it of its meaning. Tapas isn't meant to rush you towards something bigger. It's meant to keep you exactly where you are. This idea isn't unique to Spain. Many cultures embrace small shared dishes. The Middle East has meze. Italy has antipasti. China has dim sum. Across cultures, the message is the same. Food becomes more meaningful when it's shared, paced slowly, and woven into conversation. Tapas fits into this global pattern while maintaining a distinctly Spanish identity rooted in olive oil, bread, wine, and unhurried time. In recent decades, tapas has traveled far beyond Spain. Around the world, the word is used to describe small plates of all kinds, sometimes with little connection to Spanish cuisine. While this can feel diluted, it also reveals how powerful the idea of tapas really is. The format resonates. The philosophy spreads even when the flavors change. Even within Spain, tapas continues to evolve. Modern chefs reinterpret traditional dishes using new techniques and presentations. Old recipes are refined. New ideas emerge. But despite these changes, the core remains unchanged. Shared plates. Relaxed spaces. Food meant to support connection rather than dominate it. In a world that increasingly values speed, productivity, and efficiency, tapas quietly resists. It doesn't optimize your time. It expands it. It asks you to slow down. To order another plate. To stay for one more conversation. It values presence over progress and experience over excess. Tapas reminds us that food doesn't need to be elaborate to be meaningful. It doesn't need to arrive all at once. It doesn't need a formal structure to be satisfying. Sometimes, a few small dishes and a shared table are enough. So why isn't tapas simply an appetizer? Because it was never meant to be secondary. Tapas isn't the opening act. It's the entire performance. A tradition shaped by history, place, and human connection. A way of eating that celebrates variety, sharing, and presence. And maybe that's why tapas has endured for centuries. Not because of what's on the plate, but because of what happens around it. People linger. Stories unfold. Time stretches. In the end, tapas isn't about small food. It's about a big idea. That enjoying food together, slowly and generously, is one of the simplest and most enduring pleasures there is. Thank you for spending this time with us. If this story changed the way you see what's on the table, take a moment to like, subscribe, and join us again as we uncover the meaning hidden in everyday moments.